The 30-second countdown has begun for our penultimate match of the day. London Scorpions against London Galaxy in the Women's Elite Cup final. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us. You will not regret it. This is going to be two top teams going head to head. We look forward with great expectancy as to what is to occur over the next 40 minutes. So away we go. It's Galaxy in the black going from right to left, and Scorpions in that nice mix of blue and green. Now, this is the final weekend of the season. Scorpions, because they've got to this final, they will win the overall title. They are 6 points ahead of Galaxy, and they've managed to finish first in the previous 2 weeks. Even if they finish second here, they will win the title. So Galaxy just really playing for bragging rights in that respect. They have also secured second spot by getting to this final as well. The winner of this game will get 18 points, and runner-up gets 16. So Scorpions currently standing on 28 and Galaxy on 22. So if you do the maths, you can see why Scorpions have already won this title. But this is going to be a very enjoyable game nevertheless. And goodness me, will Galaxy want to win? We were talking earlier on today to Kat Walker, the number 26 for Galaxy, and she was saying that the players aren't really fully aware of the stats. They just want to go out there and play and win the games in front of them, and that is the right mentality to have. I've seen that from a lot of our teams today, regardless of where they are in the table coming into this final weekend. They just want to play and play well. So here is Walker now. We've got Hania Rahman Shepherd, the number 9, who's scooping it into the corner. Has she got an option? She almost found a gap there, but it was well ousted by the Scorpions. Eleanor Ennis and also Kat Walker were just making themselves options, but couldn't quite get on the scene just in time. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by England mixed coach Justin Conway, who also plays for Scorpions as well, so you will know a lot about this Scorpions girls team.
They're a good team. They're going to go well today, hopefully, but Galaxy's a strong team as well, so I expect this to be plus or minus 1 either way.
And how's your day gone personally, Justin?
Personally, I was a poor performer, but team managed to get third with a nice win to finish over CSSC, and good final coming up in the men's, I think, between the northern strong house that is Wigan and Hot Custard, the southern drinkers.
Yeah, well, I know it's the end of your day by the nature of the drink you brought into the commentary box. You brought a Waspin with you as well, which we'll negotiate with as this game goes on. It's certainly enjoying some of the treats and drinks we've got offer here in the commentary box as we watch this game, and still 0-0.
Yeah, both sides feeling each other out, I expect, and trying to work out where the weaknesses, if any, are on the pitch.
A fantastic scoop, and there is the first score. There is that weakness, and it was out wide in the corner.
Yep, Carly Bankston feeds Em Irons on the short side. That's great work.
It's a good start from Scorpions, as we said. They've already won the series by getting to this final. They're too far ahead of Galaxy in that respect, but of course they'll want to seal it with a hat-trick of first place positions in this tournament. And they're on course to do that with that opening score.
Now the girls are definitely keen to get 3 1s across the board, so they're certainly pumped up for this, and I expect that they'll play a good controlled game as they're used to doing. So Jen Lee on the ball with Jules. That's quite a powerhouse there, England women's open players. So expect them to try and strike back here.
Yeah, they almost did as well, just a touch on the line.
No, it's good play. See if they can finish on the 5th with something. Good play from Jen Lee though, killing it in the far corner. So Scorpions here, who want to sub, having been driven down, will now have to bring it both across and up the field. So that's a good finish from Galaxy on their set of 6.
Of course, it's Scorpions' scoring ability that gets them to the level that they're at, but what is it they're doing defensively there that we've already seen against a good Galaxy side that's keeping the back door shut, if you like?
Yeah, the number one thing to have a good defence is just to communicate, and that's what these girls do exceptionally well. They just keep talking, and that means they'll stay in tight, they'll stay controlled, and they'll only release and chase out when they need to. So defence is working as a unit and communicating. It's the two fundamentals.
Yeah, something that's been echoed a lot throughout the course of the day, communication being such an important thing.
Definitely, and especially in the women's game, you can afford to be slightly tighter. That the number of players who can pass that long ball is slightly less than you often find in the top level men's. And there we go, good score for Nikki Bird for Galaxy. So that should level it up 1-1, I think.
Yeah, it does, and that was blistering play that from Annie Raymond Shepherd spinning it out towards the near side.
No, that's good. That's good play. Take on the short side, strong in the dump there, and it stood the Scorpions' defence up. So 1-1. It's going to be a close one.
It is, and going into today, actually, in the men's competition, Justin, it was a close one on paper. You had Hot Custard, Wigan, and yourselves right up towards the top, but you were sort of the underdogs going into today. And was it any surprise, really, that you ultimately just couldn't quite make the final?
Not particularly. We've taken a leaf out of some of the other clubs and actually national teams book this year, and have brought in some of the younger players from the universities, and we'll take a year or two to bed them in, and then sort of be back where we're sort of definitively confident going into each and every tournament. So we're happy with the 3rd place result overall, both today and for the series as a whole. There's some strong teams. There's some very strong teams out there, and I think if you ask each one of those sort of top 3 or 4 teams how whether they would expect to blitz the others, and the answer will be no. It is literally all plus or minus 1 type games, which is exactly what you want at this level. Zan Hudson there with a fantastic ball, managed to get the Galaxy defence in tight. They were concerned about the mid play, that tightens up the defence there. Jen Lee's turned in, Zan sees that and just fires out. That's a good, simple score.
Made to look simple, but goodness me, there was a lot of quality involved in that, I have to say, and that's something that I think yourself watching Scorpions quite a lot will be used to.
Yeah, it's really one where the number of the girls, especially Zan Hudson, has sort of developed into what we call an eyes-up player. So she's adjusting what she's doing on the fly and reading the defence to make sure that she is executing the right option to increase the chance of scoring. So she's current England women's captain, open captain, and plays and leads the squad as such. So that's good to see.
Absolutely. But, just watch this Galaxy play here. We'll just touch on, Justin, you were saying about the big teams, of course, they don't expect to walk this, but even more so now when you've got the smaller teams, if you like, the less established teams, improving with the nature of the sport, improving at the same time. That must really be, maybe not a worry for the bigger teams, but certainly something that they have to make sure they keep their eye on the ball.
No, definitely, and it's fantastic credit to the people who run England Touch and do the work right through grassroots touch football and up. That if you go back sort of 15 years, I've been involved with the game here. The level of touch, the level of refereeing, the quality of the teams is fantastic. It's improved so much, and hopefully it'll just keep on improving, so that come the sort of every 4 years World Cup, England put a good show on and sort of start to sort of knock on the door of the the Australians and the New Zealanders. So it's fantastic to see.
Yeah, of course, the success of the Euros is something I want to talk about in a few moments' time. But just seeing Galaxy there run out of their 6. But just sum up for you your personal experience of the European Championships this summer.
It was a really good tournament. The effort and work that went in from England Touch, they put on a great tournament in Nottingham. There were some strong teams there. Scotland mixed, Wales mixed open, both extremely strong, close teams. Played probably what would be the pick of the final. England men's were dominant again. That grade probably needs strengthening up as such, and a few closer games. And there was a real tug of war in the women's final between England and Wales, and there was a fantastic effort from Wales, who I think by their own admission had been put to the sword in the round robin game, and managed to come back for a narrow 3-2 loss, and that's just a sign of some good coaching and some good resilience from a number of the senior people in that Wales women's team.
There were some really cracking games in that European Championships, and it was great to have such a great exposure as well on the BBC, of course, widening the audience range, and the viewing figures have been good during the mixed series and also men's and women's series as well. So just see Galaxy there go very close indeed.
No, that's excellent attack there from Jen Lee. Scorpions probably guilty of not pulling a corner and forcing her into the open side and then stepping up there. So little ragged on the defence, but I'm sure Dom Tripp, who's currently coaching this Scorpion ladies team, will try and tighten that up at half-time, which is about 8 minutes away.
Yeah, this first half really going by like a train, really. It's a penultimate game of the day already.
Yeah, it's I won't lie to you, it's felt like a long day, and I think that's the hardness to the grounds and the heat. There's Ali Hogg picking up, England mixed open player. 5th and last. Scorpions prepared to have a go here. They'll probably try and still kill it in the corner though.
Yeah, these two seem to be matching each other all over the pitch, and it's the fine margins that separate them, really.
Correct. You look at both sides are laden with international players, and therefore it makes for a good, close and hopefully exciting game for the viewers.
And they both seem to be very equal in their approach as well. Neither of them are really wanting to start too hard, because I mean these players have got more experience than anyone in the female scene. That 40 minutes is a very long time.
Exactly right, and one of the things that England Touch have certainly done right this year is turned the top 2 competitions, the men's, women's, and the mixed competition, into 40-minute tournaments or 40-minute games in the tournaments, and there's a big difference in your ability to win a 40-minute game as compared to a 20 or a 22-minute game. It's a far better game of cat and mouse as Scorps go in there. I think Mel Day got a hand on that, which knocked the ball forward. M. Irons grabs it still and dots down for 3-1.
Yeah, that could be a crucial score. That first time Scorpions have boasted a 2-point buffer.
Yep, hopefully the Galaxy girls keep their heads up. Two tries is very surmountable. So this is the danger period for Scorps. The 60 seconds after you score is generally, and ironically, when you'll concede a score. So they need to ensure that the defence is good here and keep Galaxy out. Conversely, Galaxy are aware that they haven't had to drive a full pitch, and this is the best time for them to try and score. But possibly a lack of communication there between the Galaxy players, and the ball hits the deck.
See a couple of Wigan players at the top of the screen there. They've been there for a lot of the time while they've not been playing. They've got their game coming up against Hot Custard, the big finale of the Men's Elite Cup final.
That's going to be a cracker of a game, and the nice thing about the Wigan boys is you can't tell whether they've got their shirt on or their shirt off, given that they're playing in white. But no, looking forward to that men's final. sad that we can't be there, but I think probably the two best teams on the day are going to give us a good sort of hammer and nails at each other for 40 minutes. So looking forward to watching that.
How do they match up against each other? We've said here that Scorpions and Galaxy pretty similar approaches, but what about Hot Custard and Wigan?
If I'm fair, I think Wigan are an extremely well-drilled side. They've got some quality players in there who now make up a significant number of the England men's open side. I think Hot Custard are probably, though, the masters of heads-up touch, and they just play a bit, I shouldn't say looser, but a bit more on the ball. Let's see what's happening and react to that, which isn't meant to be negative towards either team. It's just a different style of approach. Both can be equally effective, and both can can leave you in the lurch if you don't get it right. So I think that's there we go. M Irons in for a second. I think Galaxy need to get a score off their next possession here, otherwise this could open up. Nice flat ball there.
Just that ability, isn't it, to turn the screw. So it's been a tight game, yet Scorpions still find the time to open up a 3-point lead.
Exactly, and one of the things the Galaxy team needs to do here, and they've certainly got the maturity to do it, is to stay focused and be confident in their ability to score and to shorten that gap in the sort of 4 minutes left before half time. They're experienced players. They won't allow three tries to phase them, and I'm sure they'll regroup at half time, either down by probably three or two, and will come out firing again in the second half. It's 20 minutes for glory.
Absolutely, just trying to get back in touching distance really to give them a shot at winning this game.
And you can see here the driving's not as good. We're approaching the last quarter of the first half. Girls are tired, so they're doing their best to get down, get fresh legs on, and maybe have a single crack, but it's difficult to do from halfway. Ali Hogg onto Zan Hudson, probably two of the strongest women in the game here in the UK, if not definitely in Europe as well. So that's great play, possibly earning them a second set of 6, although I can't see that being signalled, but it should be.
On that alternate tubbing, you want to hit one on the outside, one here,
Yeah, so it looks like Scorpions have got a second set of 6. It was touched in flight by Galaxy. So now that the pressure's on, so they'll need to be careful. That looks like M Irons in for a third, so 3 before half time for M.
Yeah, one thing that impresses me about the top touch rugby teams is how they seem to do set plays while the play's actually happening. This should be open play, this should be spontaneous if you like, but it seems like so well rehearsed.
Yeah, it's the level played here is there's a lot of rehearsal that goes in, a lot of training. And so a lot of the plays, the teams will run set plays, and what the better teams are doing is, it looks rehearsed to you and I, but actually out there they're adjusting as they go, and if not, they're stacking second phase or second plays onto what they're running. So what you'll have is you may send a sweep around who'll drop into the 2 channel, and then you'll run something off that. So if your first play isn't effective, you're automatically into your second, and that's what the better teams will look to do. Now hopefully Galaxy will get a score here, because otherwise they'll go probably into half time with a relatively high mountain to climb over 20 minutes. One of my personal rules is if you're up by 3, you shouldn't lose a game, but I've seen worse things happen or better things happen depending on what side of that result you're on. But 5-1 is probably Galaxy will be disappointed with this. They're a better team than that, so we'll see how they go.
Of course, you're a coach as well as a player. Do you have that coach mentality as you're playing, that you like to know what's going off, you like to know how much time you've got left, you like to know the score?
Yeah, no, it's a sort of, it touches a game of chess effectively, that it's back and forth, and you do need to know those things so that you can. Unlucky there, if that was a certain score, but for the drop. Yeah, part of the coaching role is to visualise and work out what's happening on the pitch and get your players, who by definition are probably a lot less experienced, to adjust to that and to assist them in delivering the best possible plays and selection. So there's half-time, 5-1.
Yeah, Galaxy will be glad it isn't full-time, because they've, certainly not winning this game. 5-1 down. They've got a bit of work to do going into the second half, but you can see spirit's still relatively high on that far side. As for Scorpions, they already knew they'd won this series, but at the moment it's a very professional display from them. We'll be back with the second half very shortly.
A touchdown is the only way to score points in touch. A touchdown happens when the ball is grounded with downward pressure on or over the whitewash. The ball can be touched down but needs to be under control, and there needs to be downward pressure. A touchdown is worth 1 point. As there are no conversions in touch, you can score anywhere along the line, and as long as there is downward pressure and it is under control.
And welcome back, myself, Jonathan Bell, and Justin Conway, England mixed coach, with us for this Women's Elite Cup final. The London Scorpions leading 5-1 at the break. Maybe a scoreline that I would say is unfair on Galaxy, but maybe a bit of a surprise after how coy the first 10 minutes were.
Yeah, I think Galaxy were certainly in that game for the first 10 minutes, and then either got fatigued or switched off, and that allowed Scorps to put on 2 or 3 on them. And what the Scorpion girls will look to do here with the tap off is score on them with the first set. So as you know from just looking at the screen they haven't had to drive off their line, so you're effectively on your attacking line in probably 2 touches, which gives you a great advantage to try and score. And what Scorps will look to do is take that score line out to 6-1 and effectively destroy the sort of the mental fortitude that Tom Devereaux, as Galaxy's coach, will have got them in over half time. So they'll look to get one on here and shall we say sort of put them away with the first set of 6.
Yeah, if you are just joining us, the permutations of this are quite simple. Scorpions have already won the series as they've won the previous 2 rounds in Oxford and Manchester respectively. Galaxy will finish second, but this, for bragging rights if you like, bit of a London rivalry between Scorpions and Galaxy, but Scorpions definitely enjoying the most of it right now.
So there's what we spoke about before, was the girls ran a duster which brought Ali Hogg from open side round. It wasn't effective enough, so Ali straight down and Zan runs on for a rooster line or a 32 short, leads to a penalty, and Scorps will have a second set of 6 here, which is a phenomenal opportunity to put that 6th try on, but we'll see what they can come up with. So there's a bit of spring in the Galaxy step on D, which is good.
I would say Scorpions are the flashiest team I've seen, but they just seem to get the job done, don't they?
We're as a club possibly the most boring club ever, that we'll just go through the patterns, through the motions, and just do it right. So we don't look to do anything too flash or anything what the kids these days are calling going rogue. We just go through our patterns and believe that over a 40-minute game, if we can dial them in, we should come out on top. We might not every time, but 6 times out of 7, it's usually okay.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that sort of mentality, Justin. I do think with a lot of sport, it's just about not making mistakes and building up from there. Do the basics right and see where it takes you.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. That if you can play, if you can hold the ball for 6, not make mistakes, you're at least in the game. You know, then it's just down to fundamentally at a game like this between Galaxy and Scorpions, who's dialed in quicker and more on the money for the day. And at the moment that looks to be Scorpions, but 18 minutes is a long time to hold even a 4-point lead. So let's see how they go here. Jen Lee out there, she'll be bossing her players around. She's a phenomenal touch player. So working with Jules, trying to get that score on. Good D and good read there from Bronte Sykes, closing that down. But Galaxy's going well here. I spoke too soon.
Yeah, you just feel with Galaxy, if they can get a couple of points without reply, of course easier said than done, but a couple of points without reply, it puts a bit of doubt maybe in Scorpions' minds.
Yeah, the second half starting off much like the first. It's a bit of cat and mouse. Neither team's got ascendancy yet. They'll be treating this as if it was 0-0, and seeing how the teams react after the half. But exactly like the first half, first 3 minutes have been give and take.
Certainly so. Scorpions I would describe as a well-oiled machine. Galaxy a bit of rust into that.
So that's the second set of 6 that Galaxy are giving away. Double set for the second time in this half. So they need to really cut down that penalty count if they want to get in it. Not necessarily that it gives, you know, it's a double whammy, that it gives both Scorpions a second go on the line, but also it means that they get another set of 6, which is just time being burnt, which is something that Galaxy can't afford at the moment. There's Kylie Hutchison, England's most capped player. She's got over 100 women's opens caps, and this year at Euros stepped up to play in the 35 grades and did that very well.
Play on the call from the referee there.
Yeah, Scorpions slow to react to that. They probably needed to be slightly better. You've got to play the whistle. There's no whistle. That allowed the Galaxy D D to react and to shut that down. So good play on Galaxy's side there. They remain calm and shut out the double set of 6 on the line. So they'll need to get one here if they want to remain in this game. That's a play on. There's fresh set of 6 in the end zone. So Scorps there were very, very lucky. They went man on, and unfortunately the ball was dropped. Scorps will look to drive this out. Now, if you notice here, they'll probably drive away from the box, which is Scorpions like, but they'll dom trip, as coach will have got them double shifting so that they don't need to get to the box. Of course, I've been caught out here as 2 of them go off. Zan Hudson's on. She'll need to get over and buy the rest of her players some time to get on the pitch, and she'll look to have a scoot here off of Jade Grantham, but that looks to have been forward off the ruck.
Yeah, I think that last play from Galaxy really rattled the Scorpions' cage, didn't it? So I don't think I've seen Scorpions ran at with that much intensity for quite a while.
No, I think touch is a game of momentum, and it will ebb and flow as to which team has momentum through a half, through a game, and even in sort of micro sets of minutes. And Galaxy here, I would suggest, have got some momentum on Scorpions. So Scorpions will need to get that momentum back, even it up, and then get back into the ascendancy, because otherwise the floodgates could open.
Quickly there from Galaxy as they turn the screw.
Yeah.
It's unlucky.
Galaxy have got a second set, so exactly what Scorpion were doing. Kath Walker there on the quickie back from the dump. She actually needed to run with that rather than passing it, so we'll see if they repeat. Good work there from M. Crow, getting up on her player, making the touch. So Galaxy here, that was forward, lucky, and they'll chase out here. So Galaxy unable to capitalise, as Scorps haven't capitalised on their second sets of 6 on the line. So Scorps here are probably tired, will look to drive it out. M. Crow, Bronte Sykes, just straight down the sideline, just get field position, get fresh legs on. Ali Hogg centres it up. She's got Carly Bankston with her into half. Carly will just go, and somehow has made that through. That's 5th touch. That's a great scoop from Carly. Couldn't find someone in the end zone that was free, but that's all right. They've done well. Scorps have D'd out their line, managed to get it all the way down. Turnover ball. Galaxy here is going to have to pull something special out of the bag by driving down quickly and getting a score. Can't afford mistakes like that when you're down by 4, so Galaxy need slight more control, probably some leadership. Ladies like Jen Lee need to step up and get the troops rallied around them and working to pattern.
You've spoken through the game there very well, Justin. Do you see that when you're on pitch level, or is it usually when you're coaching you get to see the game from a better perspective?
I quite like seeing it on the camera here. It's far easier, but no, can see it from coach level. From pitch level, and there's the 6th. So that was simple short side play but from memory.
There we are.
There we go. Good hands from Lindsay on the wing, dots down, score. Galaxy need to definitively score here, otherwise I think they're done and dusted.
Good to see a good crowd on the far side as well. A lot of the teams have finished their schedule of games now. They're here for this, and then the men's final as well. Some great crowds in Nottingham for the European Championships as well. Some of the footage I caught of that, there was some just people around the perimeter of the pitch on more or less every game that you saw.
Jen Lee's got a great right over left there and put some pressure on, but unable to convert. What Galaxy probably need to do is is compress the Scorps D first with some middle quickie plays before firing that, because otherwise what Scorps can afford to do if they're not being compressed is stay slightly further out, which means the long ball to the wing is easily chased out, and if you catch on the wing and are touched, then you do have to wait for your link to come over and get under for the next play, and it slows everything down. So probably just need to condition the Scorpions team a bit more in the middle before launching long.
I saw generally in the first game actually of the day when the Galaxy took on Thames Valley Vikings, and not only could she switch right to left but left to right as well, and that is really something, if you've got in your armour, that is strong, because that doubles your sort of options, if you like.
Without a doubt, and generally he's had a good sort of rugby background that allows her to pass both right over left and left over right, and that's what makes her effective. If you can only hit 3 out of 5 other players on the pitch, that's only 60% of the players you can hit, whereas you can hit either 4 or 5, that's 80 and 100%. So you're just increasing your options, and if you're increasing your options, you're increasing your likelihood of scoring tries.
But she has seemed to be nullified in this game, and these teams play each other a lot. I mean, is this a simple case of Scorpions know her strengths and they've just stopped her playing?
Yeah, certainly the girls playing here know each other pretty well. They've, I think they played each other in the in the Oxford final. So this is the second time that Galaxy have met Scorpions in a final. Not to say that they don't also train together. A lot of them as sort of England representatives, and with the national series coming up, a lot of both Galaxy and Scorpions, being a sort of predominantly London team, will be in the Sharks and Taipans national side. So the girls know each other, what they're capable of, and look to counteract that. And Scorps D needs to be manipulated before you're going to get easy tries. There are no easy tries here for Galaxy, and they need to play slightly smarter touch if they want the wider gaps to open up.
Yeah, Scorpions here boasting 5 points without reply. It was 1-1 in the early stages of the first half, but it's just ran away from Galaxy this game.
Yeah, I'd suggest Galaxy are going to start to get desperate here. What Scorps will look to do is just stay composed, use all 6, try and get a second set. Well, here first of all they need to get off their line, which you can see the Galaxy pressures coming on, and Scorps are struggling to get the momentum on the drive. But Zan will have a crack here and effectively get some great yards. So Scorps managed to rescue that from the sort of depths of despair and get down at least to the Galaxy 10 line. So good D from Galaxy. They showed some aggression there and getting up. So one of the things that Galaxy do well is they do defend aggressively, i.e. they send a wave of players up, and then they send a second wave immediately after that touch is made, which means driving out can be quite difficult. But if you stay on your patterns, you'll eventually overcome that. So Scorps here looking a little tired. They probably need a bit of go forward, get some momentum, and then they should be able to wrap this game up, I'd say, with 7 minutes left. Good yards there. Doesn't matter really. Scorpions got down to the Galaxy try line, so not a bad result. So Galaxy will have to drive out here, and they really do need a score. Otherwise, I would proffer it's a lost cause. So this is good yards from Galaxy. They're running a simple 4-man drive, so that's, or 4-lady drive, woman drive if you will, where a player from either side is hitting in and getting direct yards. So that's good work generally on the scoop. But to be fair to Jen, that was a bit of a sort of pick and hope, to be honest. She didn't have the support of her players around there, or any of the outside Galaxy girls punching holes, which is what she would need to get into the end zone. So Scorps here will just drive it down. That's a bad error there. So
Rare
this
one
is
as well.
Very rare. I haven't been counting, but I think that possibly the first error made by or handling error made by Scorps this half. So great opportunity for Galaxy to get one back and possibly sort of get some respectability back into the scoreline. Can't afford to take their time here and give up the yards, so that was a wasted touch. Kath Walker needs to basically get herself on the ball at a non-dummy half roll here so that she's live and can create something.
Well, they've got that one.
They did get that one. That's not too bad, actually. One might say a little lucky, but sometimes luck comes into it. Good ball from Kath Walker, and tipped by Lindsay before B manages to catch and dot down in the corner, so 6-2.
No Scorpions bias involved in that, was there, just in that comment there?
I'm sure Kath will agree with me. It was lucky.
So Scorpions resistance finally broken in this second half. It's been around 20 minutes since they last conceded.
Yep, and if my memory serves, second half is 1-1, so that'll be a function of the day. These girls have played, 80 minutes a touch before this game. It's hot out there. It's as Adrian Cronau would say, it's damn hot, real hot. So Scorpions, I think, have not got a second set of 6, but about third touch on the line, so they'll look to crack back. And as said earlier, it's imperative that Galaxy shut this out because you don't want to concede after scoring a try, which is exactly what Galaxy have done.
Yeah, I don't know what, we don't have an overwhelming amount of stats, unfortunately, on these games, but I'd love to know the offensive efficiency of Scorpions, because most often when they do go forward, they do score from it. I can't remember too many attacks from Scorpions in this game, but when they have attacked, they've scored every time.
No, conversion rate is key, and the way you get your conversion rate up is that you get the ball in your hand of your players who are making the right decision. So for Scorps there, it'll be Bronte Sykes and Hudson. They're both excellent players on the ball, and that's what means that you can convert. So there's a lot of maths in touch, and you just want to get all your percentages up.
Well, 3 minutes to go. It's been a really good game, this. No way has Scorpions battered Galaxy. They've just been more clinical.
No, definitely. I don't think the scoreline is reflective of the difficulty in the game that's being played.
Scorpions on course here for a hat-trick of weekend top finishers in Oxford in round 1, Manchester in round 2, and now Canterbury in round 3, as they are on their way to getting the Elite Cup.
Yeah, that's good yards, and Carly Bankston should just have gone off of that. There didn't need to be a final jam in there from Alice Watchorn. Carly should have just picked that ball up and gone. But that's one of the, shall we say, frailties in England touch, that we always look for just one more touch before scooping, whereas we need to as a nation start scooping earlier.
It's interesting having the Southern Hemisphere perspective as well with you, Justin. We had Peter earlier on from Hot Custard, an Aussie, who was talking about there is still that gap there, of course, between England and New Zealand and Australia. That's going to be there for a while, and while England touch are improving, as is Australian, and I'm imagining the same for the Kiwis as well.
No, exactly, and the all that the Australians especially do differently is they play a simple game of touch. They execute better at higher speed, and if your execution is up and you're playing quicker, you will do very well. The other thing that Australia have is touch is a massive game there, where most kids in the UK will play football at school. There's a lot of touch football going on in Australia, so that by about the age of 16, you're already playing top level touch, especially in Brisbane, New South Wales. So they've just got a factory of kids coming through and playing touch. So Bronte Sykes in there for a score. And what I'd suggest here is Galaxy should look to score to finish the game on a high, but that's just probably tiredness at this stage of the game. Levi-Ray drives up, feeds off, and Jules just caught probably flat-footed and turned in there. So that's an unfortunate way, or fortunate way for Scorps to finish the game, but I'd like to see Galaxy put on one final attack here and keep the respectability level up.
Yeah, of course, you've got to put things in perspective. Scorpions consistent over the 3 weeks, which is difficult, not just on a sporting level to be on the pitch and manage to keep performances at that level, but just to get the group of players together every weekend.
Definitely, and probably the award for Scorps will go for their effort in Manchester a few weeks ago, where they managed to win a tournament with 8 players. So they just grounded out. They had confidence in each other and went well. So I think Scorps got up there 7-2, 8-2.
8-2, yeah.
That's a great result for the ladies.
So thankfully for Scorpions today, they managed to have more than 8 players, and they got 8 points on the board as well, an 8-2 victory. Just looking over some of their scores here. So that result means that now Scorpions have triumphed in Oxford, Manchester and Canterbury. They've completed the hat-trick and they have won the Women's Elite Cup, defeating Galaxy, who are runners-up. Congratulations to them as well in what was a good game and a score ultimately that reflects Scorpions being the better out of the two, but maybe not by a scoreline of 6.
I think 6 was probably very kind to Scorps. That's probably a 2 or 3 pointer. I think Galaxy probably with just a sort of 3 or 4% better execution, and that would have tightened that game right up. But you'll take some learnings from this, hopefully review the tapes, and these girls will work on some individual improvements as they go into the national series at the end of August. Most of these girls will be in one team or another, so hopefully they can work out what hasn't been going right and fix that.
Yeah, really good fun. We've got the men's coming up as well. Justin, be rude while we've got you not to ask who's going to win, Hot Custard or Wigan. I knew you'd enjoy that.
That's a tough question. I think when Wigan played us, they were pretty clinical. So that's the only team I've seen today. But Hot Custard have got some quality ball players in there. So I'm going to call it close. I won't tell you who's going to win it, but I'll tell you that it's going to go to a drop-off. How's that?
Ooh, interesting. That would be very interesting indeed. Okay, thank you very much, Justin
Pleasure.
Conway of Scorpions, and also England's mixed open coach as well. As we just see some of the highlights for this very shortly, our man Chris Wearmouth will hopefully be grabbing an interview with us, and we'll be back with that in a couple of moments' time. So success then for the Scorpions. They are the champions in the Women's Elite Cup. They've defeated London Galaxy by 8 points to 2. And our man Chris Wearmouth has managed to grab Zan Hudson and Carly Bengston.
Joined by Susanna Hudson and Carly Bengtson from London Scorpions. Susanna, we are making a bit of a habit of this year, both at international level but also at club level. I keep saying you must be delighted, but really, as the overall champions as well, thrilled.
Oh, it's just incredible. It's been the best year of touch. I just said that in our little chat. Best year of women's touch I've played in this country.
And it was fitting, really, that it was you guys against London Galaxy in the final as well.
Yeah, always a really tough game for us, but always a really enjoyable game. I think it's always played in really good spirit. So.
In terms of how much you guys have developed as a squad, what are the 2 or 3 things that you've really worked on over the course of the last couple of months?
I think we've changed our defensive policy and just trying to put that into practice, and I think it's been working really, really well. But I just think that I'm just so proud of how everyone's developed. Like, I think that's shown. We've had different people at some tournaments in terms of numbers, like last time only 8, but just go from strength to strength. Everyone contributes something. It's just great.
Carly, how tough is it out there today?
Yeah, I have to admit the heat was pretty tough, and also like Galaxy are such competitors, so it's really strong in the ruck. And I think we've got to remember as well, we've got a few girls that have played Euros the past 2 weeks, and you can't forget how much that takes out of them. So for them to back up and be here 2 weeks later playing in that, I think was really good.
Yeah, and as far as just to follow on from what Suzanne was saying about how the Galaxy guys, it's always competitive against them, and something that you just alluded to as well. How do you develop how you play against them over the course of the year?
I think we get a few opportunities to play against them. There's we also play sometimes against them, both being in London, we play against them midweek as well. And I think we start to learn a lot about the way they play and the way they defend, and then we do adapt our game according to that as well.
So just finally, we were chatting a lot at Euros in Nottingham 2 weeks ago, and obviously England won the Women's Open title there. How difficult has it been to come back down to club level and then using this now as a springboard to touch nationals at the end of August?
I don't know. It's not been that difficult, really. I suppose it's just it's enjoyable to play at club level as well as international. It's slightly more kind of fun, less pressure, I suppose. But as you say, it's such a quick turnaround. I think people were feeling it a bit today, just in terms of fitness. But hey, onwards and upwards to World Cup, isn't it? So.
Well, very many congratulations to both of you, and we'll let you go get a very well-earned drink and enjoy the men's final that's about to come up.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you guys all over it?